The fourth learning outcome, database design and development, is be able to review the process of design and implementation of the database. So assume that you have created your database using the particular application, the particular database management system, maybe the MySQL, and whether it's the application of the online or the SQL Server, Access, or whatever, then you should be able to review that how did you design and implement. So for the database, you need the documentation. Database documentation or database design documentation is documenting a database during its development is a best practice to ensure that organizational schema, data objects, and other related information are captured for future reference. So, for example, if you know well that what is your data and how it has been organized, what are the objects and any information, it can be used for future reference for any purpose. If you don't have the documentation, then you cannot understand, use the database. The documentation often takes many forms, including data dictionary, database administrator guides, database architecture documentation, database functional specification. Normally, the term used, data dictionary, is referred to use the database documentation. So, data dictionary is a kind of general term for the database documentation. The database documentation serves multiple audiences, which is the database architects, the database developers, database administrators, production support, quality assurance staff. The information included in the data dictionary is hidden from the normal users to prevent any corruption of its contents, while the data dictionary in a database serves an administrative and management of function. It does not include any actual database data, though a relational database management system requires a data dictionary to access data from the database. So, data dictionary is basically the data about data. If you need the data, it means you should be able to know that where is the data stored. So, hence, you should be able to produce the data dictionary, as well as you should be able to know that how you will be creating this. Database documentation or database design documentation continued. Typical elements to include in your database documentation are, you should consider the following: data element number. If you have data element, previously we discussed that there can be different elements into the database like entities, the relationships, and the associations. So any particular data element should be identified with the data element number. The data element name, which is the commonly agreed upon unique data element name. The data element name is generally decided upon during the design phase with some influence from the requirements gathering phase. Short description of the data element, security classification for the data element, list of related data elements with important relations to the specific data, field names based upon the technical names provided within the database schema, the core format including any need special presentation and data type format. For example, if you have the database within a table and the name of a particular column, for example, the column for the name, a name of an employee, then which format you will be required to store. So code format is important. Default values specified whether the data value may have a default value. It shouldn't be the case that if you, for example, if you are storing the address of an employee, and normally the default values could be null. Null is the written as NULL. But if you wanted to say that okay, it shouldn't be the null, it should be the space, then probably you would know that space is shown if the data and the address is not listed there. Element coding, providing an explanation of coding and validation rules, and few more things, that database table references where the tables are stored, data source for the element, valid dates for the data element, history references, external references, data element version. This is a kind of bit more technical thing. Obviously, the software of a database is used to store the data, but it means the software itself needs a data about data, which is called the metadata. Database table information documentation. You will also need a database table information. What is that? Basically, that is table name, a database or table owner name, data element column names, and details, key order of all elements, databases, index information, technical table organization, duplicate rows information, whether you allow the duplicate rows or not, data element list, table security classification. So, your database information is basically the information about information, that how you will be storing the information, and in a database that is to be represented by the database documentation, and database documentation is a kind of database dictionary or the data dictionary which should hold these information very well. Now, literally, database architecture focuses on design, development, implementation, and maintenance of a computer program that stores and organizes information for businesses, agencies, and institutions. When you talk about the architecture, you are talking about how is the design, how the development is carried out, how the implementation is done, and how the maintenance will be done. A database architect develops and implements a software to meet the needs of users. Several types of databases, including relational or multimedia, may be created. Additionally, a database architect may use one of several languages to create a database, such as structured query language, and that's normally used in Oracle, Microsoft, and which are two common database programs. So every database management system has to be carried out by a database architecture overall, and you have the architecture, it means you have a complete system. Database components. What are the components of a database? A simple database components include one or more tables for the data, a query language that retrieves the specific data elements, and forms for entering or displaying data. Additional components include reporting tools, authorized tools, customized pages, use of data. Relational databases have a schema that defines the relationships between the tables and may include components that automate the routine tasks. So everything which comes, like we discussed, tables, queries, the macros, the triggers, they come under the components of the database. Review. Database development review, design review. Design review are an important aspect of the system development lifecycle for database applications. Design reviews are an important aspect of the system development lifecycle. It is during the design review that all aspects of the database and applications code are reviewed for efficiency, effectiveness, and accuracy. So if you want the database that should be efficient, effective, and accurate, then you should really focus on the design of the database. You should seriously consider the review of the design of the database. Then you will be able to get the efficient, effective, and accurate system. It is imperative that all database applications, regardless of their size, are reviewed to assure that the application was designed properly, efficient coding techniques were used, and the database is accessed and modified correctly and efficiently. The design review is an important process of checking the validity of the design decisions and correcting errors before applications and databases are promoted to production status. So the design review is most important. There are 7 basic design review phases for the database application. You need to look at the review at conceptual level, logical level, physical level, organizational level, SQL level, pre-implementation level, and post-implementation level. Conceptual design review. You are reviewing the conceptual design. First phase should be the conceptual design review. The purpose of this review is to validate the application concept. If you have the concept of the application which is valid, then you are basically doing the design review. For example, if you want to produce a simple knowledge and that you are trying to store into the database, then probably you are not doing well. For example, if there is one information, let's say that what is computer, and there is definition. If there is another information, what are the components of the computer, then there are. Do you really need to create the database for only these 2 things? Probably you could just create the 2 pages and giving them a link and stored outside the database. So your application concept must be valid and appropriate for the purpose of use. Otherwise, you are not doing the proper design. This involves a presentation of the statement of the purpose as well as general overview of the desired functionality that will be provided by the application. A CDR, conceptual design review, should be conducted as early as possible to determine the overall feasibility of the project. Failure to conduct a CDR can result in projects which provide duplicate or inadequate functionality, projects which are cancelled due to lack of funds, staffing, planning, user participation, and or management interest, over budget projects. So if you don't have a conceptual design review, which is basically the validity of the application, then probably the project could be cancelled, project could be stopped because of the funds. Obviously, if you did not wanted to any particular functionality and you spent more on that particular implementation, that obviously the funds will be useless, staffing will be useless, planning will be useless, participation or management interest, all these related things would be not suitable, would not be relevant, and maybe the budget could be over budget. So conceptual design review is helpful in this regard. Logical design review. The second phase is the logical design review. This should be conducted when the first cut of the logical data model has been completed. A thorough review of all the data element descriptions, relationships should occur during the logical design review. The logical design review should scrutinize the following. Has the logical model been thoroughly examined to ensure that all the required business functionalities can be achieved based solely upon the model? Is the model in at least third normal form? Have all the data elements, entities, attributes required for the application been identified? Have the data elements which have been identified been documented accurately? Have all the relationships between the defined? Have all the relationships been defined properly? Logical review. Logical review is basically the database design review where you select number of tables, when you select number of entities, number of roles, number of associations, and you want to make sure the all of the functionalities in between, whether the data and the tables, they are normalized, do they have any abnormalities. If they have, then you bring the databases or tables into the first normal form, second normal form, and third normal form that we discussed earlier. So in this way, you would basically be checking each and every aspect of the relational model, the model or design model of the database, entity relationship diagrams, data flow diagrams, entities, number of tables, their number of roles, their associations, primary keys, foreign keys, everything is included into the logical design. Technically, that is basically the core review. Physical design review is the third design review phase. It is a component which most DB2 developer associate with the design review process. A DB2 developer or any developer is where the database is reviewed in detail to ensure that all of the proper design choices were made. In addition, the DBA and the developer, DBA, data administrator and database administrator, should ensure that a proper translation from logical to physical was made, including conformance to standards, mapping to appropriate database objects, performance tweaking for physical database management system issues. Additionally, all the denormalization decisions are to be documented. Here, in previous logical review, you created the logical view. You did not really created the tables and everything, every relationships according to any database. But in the physical design review, when you interpreted your design, your model into a physical database, like DB2 is a database, MS Access is a database, Microsoft SQL Server is a database, MySQL is a database, whether you transform that logical model into physical model, that could be assessed, and probably the data administrator and database administrators, they ensure that whether the model has been transformed appropriately or not. The data administrator is responsible to provide the data. It could be generalized, not necessary that he is the technical person, but the database administrator will be responsible to convert the required model into the database design, which is the physical design. The organization design review, similar in scope, maybe, but no less critical is the organization review. It is small, but it's not less critical. It is important. This review addresses the enterprise-wide concerns of the organization with respect to the application being reviewed. Common review points include how does the system interact with other systems in the organization. So, by looking at your system, you should be able to consider your system at the organizational level, that how feasible is your system regarding the interactivity. Has the logical data model for this application been integrated with the enterprise data model? So, for example, you created a logical model of your application, of your organizational application, review. I mean, is the logical review to the standards of the enterprise level or not? Possibly, it could be the case that you created a logical review which may have not been organized well in order to or according to the standardized enterprise models. To what extent can this application share the data of other applications? To what extent can other applications share this application's data? So if your logical model has been designed according to the industry standards, then you will easily be able to produce the data from your system, and your system should also be able to get the data from other systems, and the integration or communication or the transfer of the data can be easily made with the logical designed architecture. If your logical design was fine, then logical design, if it is at the industry standard, then you can cope with the enterprise level targets. If your system becomes the legacy system, a legacy system which cannot be integrated with any new further developments or versions of the system, then you are not reviewed properly. SQL design review. The phase 5, the SQL design review must occur for each SQL statement prior to the production turnover. The SQL design review should consist the following analysis. An explain should be run for each SQL statement using production statistics. The plan table should then be analyzed to determine if the most efficient access paths have been chosen. If a plan analysis tool is available, output from it should be analyzed as well. Every program should be reviewed to validate that inefficient host languages, COBOL, Java, etc. constructs were not used. In addition, efficient SQL implemented inefficiently with loops should be analyzed for its appropriateness. All dynamic SQL should be reviewed whether it is embedded in an application program or to be run through report or query tool. Basically, like you created the SQL, probably you could test your SQL using the commands explain, plan tables and everything, their efficiencies, their linkages, and if any of the errors or joins or misjoins are missing, then these tools will be able to help you to review the design of SQL. Pre-implementation design review. Basically, the sixth phase is the pre-implementation design review. This simply consists of overall review of the system components prior to implementation. Loose ends which exist from the previous 5 phases should be cleaned up, and final quick review of each application component should be performed. So when you are talking about the pre-implementation review, then you are probably talking about the logical review, physical review, organizational review, SQL design review, and these things should be reviewed before you implement. Pre-implementation is focused on the 5 phases that you did, and later on you are doing the post-implementation review. The post-implementation is the final phase. Design review. This is necessary in order to determine if the application is meeting its objectives. These objectives include both performance objectives, functionality objectives. If any objective is not being met, a plan for addressing deficiency must be proposed and acted upon. Multiple post-ITR phases can occur. So basically, these are the technically you should find out whether your functionality of the system is okay or it has a deficiency. If it has a deficiency, then you should follow the post-implementation directions, post-DR or whatever, the review, the post-implementation design review should be repeated again and again so that all the flaws should have been removed. Code inspection. Code inspection is the most formal type of review, which is a kind of static testing to avoid the defect multiplication at a later stage. To avoid the defect multiplication, for example, if you have a code, then it is possible that you could probably face any defect at further later stages which could destroy your application. So it is better you should inspect your code in order to avoid every of the future problems. The main purpose of the code inspection is to find defects, and it can also spot any process improvements, if any. Security inspection. Account list. All database accounts should be audited periodically to determine if they have the relevant permissions to access the databases. Accounts to be audited periodically. For example, if you created an account for 3 employees, then periodically, every month, every week, or every day, you should be able to check the accounts whether the employee is existing or not. It shouldn't be the case that you fired an employee due to any reason and he or she is still granted the access, the authorization to access the system, and they could harm the system. So that's also the security inspection concern. Accounts should also be reviewed regularly to detect any offending account should be deleted by DBA or application staff. That is most important. All user passwords should be changed periodically for security reasons, most important during installation of databases. Default usernames and passwords, admin, must be changed immediately after the installation. So normally when the applications are designed, people use default password like admin and admin, user is admin and the password is admin, but they should be changed immediately, as well as you should have some policy to change the passwords of the systems every 72 hours, maybe every 2 weeks, so that even if the passwords were leaked, then the new password should have been in action, should have been in use, so that the chances could be reduced. Security inspection, security communications. You want to make sure that communications to the database are kept private. Whatever the communication is being carried out from your database in the linkage with the other application component or with another database across the organization, across the network, it should be kept secret. Encrypt sessions between applications and database, especially web applications. We discussed earlier that probably you use the security, the digital certificates, the encryption, the HTTP protocols, so that your communication should be secure. Reset database port numbers to non-default values. Examples, moving. This is a kind of techniques to secure your database, because your computer or database is being accessed through the particular address, the IP address of the database, and you have a port number that is listening the request from the computer. Port is a place from where this is a logical thing when you are connected. So you should also consider the port of the database, that using which kind of port is being used. Block ad hoc connections from undesired locations, time of the day, or through unapproved applications can be detected and rejected by simple login triggers, database firewalls, and some access control. So you can define certain rules. The authorization, the ad hoc connections. The ad hoc connections are defined according to the locations, and you should be able to define that whether which location should be able to be, for example, if you have a bank and certain branches are being spread all over the country, and one branch wants to access the server, then their IP addresses should be static. It should not be the dynamic that a bank branch is accessing the internet from the public network, and it shouldn't be the case. They should have some ad hoc connections and some dedicated connections, so that you should be able to access those, to grant the access to the database. Otherwise, you are not allowed. In case if any request is coming from the public network, then you should be able to block anything accordingly. Post implementation review. The post implementation review is conducted after the project has been completed. The purpose of post implementation review is to evaluate how successfully the project objectives have been met and how effective the project management practices were in keeping their project on track. So post-implementation review is an assessment and review of the completed working solution. It will be performed after a period of live running, sometime after the project is completed. So sometime it is the post-implementation is carried out when the project is running, or when the project is completed. So there are these possibilities, that if you are reviewing the system, it is in use, you are keep on reviewing, or maybe once you complete it and you review it. There are three purposes of the post implementation review: to ascertain the degree of success from the project, in particular the extent to which it met its objectives, delivered planned levels of benefits, and address the specific requirements as originally defined, to examine the efficiency of all elements of the working business solutions, to see if further improvements can be made to optimize the benefits. So overall, to learn lessons from this project, the lessons which can be used by team members and by organization to improve for future project work and solutions. So overall, the post-implementation, to know that at what degree the objectives have been met, to know the efficiency of the solution, and to know that any improvements are required for the system implemented. So the learning outcome 4 has been completed, and in this way your whole unit is also completed. You should review it regarding the SQL creation of the your database using SQL, and then review the testing of the database, overall review, these design reviews. You keep in mind, look at your assignment and what requirements are there, and how you will need to start with, how you will be creating, and how you will be reviewing, and how you will be suggesting any improvements. So all these according to the given instructions of the learning outcomes, so that you should be able to know the assessment criteria as well as the way to create your assignments. So I finished this session here. If you have any questions, you can ask now. So Khalid and Abid, if you have any question?
No, don't have.
So, okay, so I end this session now, and next week we will start with a new session. I would advise you to quickly review and reread this unit, as well as do the some implementation of the SQL commands. Go through the your assignment. Try to come up with the solution as soon as possible, so that you should remember everything. and we will start the new session, new unit next week. So, okay, see you next week, and you can ask any question by email whenever you require. Okay then?
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.